At makausap natin ngayon ang basketball blogger and Golden State Warriors diehard fan na si Adrian. Hindi ko pala dapat sabihin yun. Adrian
Gonna get me in trouble.
Well, Adrian, ito, una kong tatanong, Adrian, kamusta naman yung feeling mo kahapon while watching the game?
You know, the Warriors are... They always had the potential na maka-force ng Game 7, diba? This is a team that won. This is the team that set the win record, the new win record, and you don't get to do that many wins without being a special team. So I always thought they always had it in them, but the way it was such a dramatic way to end that game, it really said a lot about the teams.
Yun nga, sinasabi mo dramatic because OKC led for 3.5 quarters. At the end of the third quarter, lamang pa sila ng 8 points. It was only in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the ball game where nag-collapse.
Right.
Sabi nga ni Charles Barkley, bumalik sa hero ball. Itong Oklahoma City Thunder, saan mo ina-attribute yun? To what do you attribute that?
I mean, part of it is panic siguro because when you look at the way they played, in the last 5 minutes, they had 13 offensive possessions. At 12 of those possessions, they only had 1 or fewer, meaning no passes at all. So you could really see na when it was Westbrook or Durant who got the ball, somebody would occasionally set a screen for him, and that's basically it. Yun na yung buong offense nila in the fourth quarter. So siguro they didn't expect that the Warriors would be able to catch up, so nagpanic sila. This is the team, after all, na in the regular season, they lost 14 games, which is pretty high for a team na third seed sa West, entering the fourth quarter with a lead. So when Charles Barkley says hero ball, it's more of old Thunder ball when you think about it.
And sayang because they probably were the most improved team dito sa playoffs of 2016. Pero gaya nga nasabi natin, 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter because of Westbrook and Durant. But you cannot discount itong performance ni Klay Thompson. And of course, Steph Curry. Ngayon, if you're Coach Billy Donovan, how else? Paano dedepensahan yung dalawa?
That's a good question kasi they've been switching yung mga on defense against those two guys. So you might want to gamble siguro just playing them straight up, but then that requires a lot of discipline on the part of Russell Westbrook. And alam natin na si Westbrook, the way he plays defense, because he's such a speed demon on offense, he'll take possessions off on defense, and there are players who do that talaga. So it's a gamble. I think na Donovan will stick with his plan of switching. Sometimes it works out, like when Durant gets switched on to Curry, nakita natin na Curry struggles because of Durant's length. But there are times when some other guy like Enes Kanter, sorry na, Stephen Curry's gonna take a 3 in his face.
In terms of adjustments naman, we saw in terms of field goal percentage, Durant was 10 of 31, Westbrook was 10 of 27. Is there a missing link in terms of a supporting cast para dito sa Oklahoma City?
Well, I think like one guy you can point to si Serge Ibaka na he had 12 points in the first half and only 1 after that. Ito pa yung mahirap sa kanila. When they're going to Oracle Arena, as we know, when you're playing on the road, supporting cast tends to play poorer, and then the supporting cast of the opposing team plays better. So there's a lot of pressure on Durant and Westbrook na bukas when they play, they really have to hit a high percentage of their shots because they can't expect na nandun naman si Ibaka, nandun naman si Roberson. We can't expect those guys to play well, especially in the Oracle Arena, as we know, is one of the best home court advantages in the NBA.
So clearly, momentum has shifted on the part of Golden State kahit na only 9 other teams have been able to come back from a 3-1 series deficit. How do you think the atmosphere? How do you think it will be sa Oracle Arena? How do you think the Warriors are going to approach this game?
Well, for sure, as we mentioned, yung atmosphere talaga is going to be crazy with all the fans there. The problem siguro for the Warriors is they can't play too much to the crowd kasi yung problem nila this entire series has been turnovers. Once they turn the ball over, Westbrook's zipping down the floor, Durant is zipping down the floor, and it's a huge dunk on the other side. So if they play sloppy nung first half, that's going to be a big problem for them because that will bring momentum back to the Thunder. But if they play, more deliberate, if they're careful with their passing, they have a good chance of getting a big lead and putting the Thunder in the hole early.
Quickly, Adrian, for both teams, ano yung keys to the ball game for tomorrow?
I think sa Thunder, number one is the offensive rebounds. That's been their bread and butter throughout these playoffs. So if they can dominate the glass again, that's a huge thing for them. I also think na if they can find nga one other guy to score for them, if it's Ibaka, maybe Dion Waiters pa nga, you never know. That would be really huge, as I said, on the road. So Warriors naman siguro, as mentioned, turnovers, they have to cut that down. They have to play more deliberate. And I also think na I'm curious as to whether Coach Kerr will go with a small rotation again. Sa second half kasi, he really shortened his rotation to just the starting 5, Iguodala, and then some cameo appearances by Ezeli and Sean Livingston. So makikita natin if he does that again, because we know he loves to play about 10 guys. Alam na, usually sa playoffs, they shorten the rotation, but Kerr has always done it differently. So whether he goes from the start now, all my chips are in, I'm going to go with these guys lang, or he's going to play the rest of the lineup, that might decide how this game will turn out.
All the way in Cleveland, LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, who've only lost 2 games, if I'm not mistaken, the entire playoffs. Who do you want to face?
If I'm Cleveland, siguro, I'm kind of worried about the Warriors because they showed in the regular season again that they can really dominate against the Cavaliers. At least with the Thunder, it's really just Westbrook and Durant. And if you can somehow stop 1 or 2 of them, or we can't really stop them, to force them into a bad shooting night, we've seen that they can win against those teams. But then yung kita ko sa Cavaliers kasi their defense is quietly actually very poor. They focus a lot on outscoring opposing teams And sa East, pwede yun because you're going up against the likes of Detroit, against Toronto, na who can't put up a lot of points. Or against the Thunder or the Warriors, alam natin those guys can score in a bunch. So baka the Cavaliers might not be able to get into a shooting contest with
So
them.
you don't feel na either team, Warriors or Thunder, kakayanin ng Cavs?
And this is not like an anti-East Coast bias or whatever. Pero feel ko talaga, regardless of who wins the West, that team will move on to win the NBA championship.
Quickly, if Thunder lose tomorrow, you think Durant leaves?
Sa akin hindi, because what Durant wanted to see lang is improvement. So they replaced the head coach, they re-signed Enes Kanter. I think his attitude from the start was always, tignan natin how far we can go. And knocking off the San Antonio Spurs, getting within a game of the defending champions, I think for him, he will say na, okay, that's enough progress. He may not resign a long-term deal. People have been saying na mag-go 1+1 deal siya so that he can have flexibility. He can hit free agency at the same time as Russell Westbrook. So if they lose, I don't think he will leave because satisfied na siya sa level of progress that the team has shown.
Okay, Adrian, hindi na kita tatanungin ng prediction mo because alam ko na kung anong prediction mo. I'll only wish you a good night's sleep. And it's going to be an exciting game tomorrow.
It will, definitely.
Thanks for being on the
No
Score,
problem.
Adrian.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score. And don't forget to subscribe.